to ratio analysis. In the previous class, we talked about our financial statement, which comprises the statement of profit or loss and the statement of financial position. So for the statement of profit or loss, it allows us to get the profit. For the statement of financial position, are you here? For the statement of financial position, it allows us to know the assets and liabilities of the business. So when we have to measure the performance of the business, then we need ratio analysis, because we need to measure the performance of our business. Oh, we made profit, yes. Comparing the profit of this year with the previous year, that means we need ratio analysis. Comparing the assets of last year with the assets of this year, we need ratio analysis. This is why we need ratio analysis. For the profit, we use the gross profit margin and the net profit margin. We talked about that. But if we have to measure how much we have available as a business in terms of the worth or the value of the business, we need to use our current ratio or acid test ratio. So that takes us to go into the statement of financial position. Remember, the statement of financial position is that table that shows us, or that account or record that shows us the assets and liabilities of the business. That is what the statement of financial position is. So if we have to know how liquid a business is, we get to know through the statement of financial position. So that takes us to the concept and importance of liquidity. So the concept and importance of liquidity, I wrote, liquidity is the ease at which assets can be turned into cash. We call it liquidity because the resources we have can easily be turned into cash. For example, I have a marker here. So how soon can I turn this marker, how soon can I sell this marker to get cash? That is how liquid this marker is. So the most liquid asset we have is cash. Are you guys with me? The most liquid asset we have is what? Cash. So aside cash, then we have other assets. We have other current assets like inventories, trade receivables, and bank. All these are assets that we can sell. But we have to put in mind that for non-current assets, we don't sell them. We don't sell them for cash. We use them in the business. So, we have non-current assets and current assets. Assets are divided into two, non-current and current. We call it non-current because it can last for more than a year. They are fixed assets. They are used in the business. For current assets, these are where we get our liquidity from. I think the point is clear. So, a business needs enough liquid so as it can pay its immediate bills. Without cash, remember we said earlier that cash is the lifeblood of every business. Without cash, we cannot successfully run a business. So that means we need enough cash to pay our immediate bills. So there are two ways to measure, or there are two ways in which the liquidity of a business can be measured. We can use the current ratio or the acid test ratio. So for the current ratio, the formula for the current ratio is current assets divided by current liabilities. So if we want to know how much cash we have available right now to pay up our short-term debt, we use our current ratio. So for current ratio, it is current assets divided by current liabilities. But how do we get this information? We get this information through our statement of financial position. So let's assume this is ABC Limited Statement of Financial Position, or let's use PLC. Let's say ABC PLC Financial Position. PLC Financial Position. So this is the company. This is its 2015 financial position and 2016 financial position. So we have the non-current assets. These are assets that stays more than a year with the business. Building equipment, they are longer, they stay longer, more than a year. Then we have our current assets, which are those assets that are expected to last a year. So we are supposed to use them up within a year. We have cash, we have inventories, we have trade receivables, we have bank. Cash, we already know what cash is, right? Yes. Inventories are the stocks we sell, yes or no? Yes. Then our trade receivables, these are our credit customers. Those customers that have bought from us that we are expecting them to pay within a short period of time. Then we have bank, which is the amount of money we have in the bank. I think that is clear. Then we have our capital and liabilities. We have the capital employed, the amount of money we have invested into the business as the owner of the business. We have retained profits, the profit we make from our statement of profit or loss in terms of what we sell. Then we have a loan, a bank loan. A loan is a non-current liability because it is expected to pay it for more than a year. Then we have an overdraft. An overdraft means you have withdrawn more than what you have available in your bank account. Maybe you have, let's assume you have $500 in your bank account, but you needed $550. So if the bank gives you the access to take $550 from your bank account, it means you have a $50 overdraft. So you have to pay it back within a short period of time. So that is a non-current, that's a current liability. Do you understand current liabilities here? We call them current liabilities because you have to pay back within a short period of time. We call them non-current liabilities because it is expected to pay them after more than a year. So now we have all these analysis for 2015 and 2016. So we need to get the current ratio for 2015. So for 2015 current ratio, are you guys with me, please? So for 2015 current ratio, we have our current ratio to be cash, inventory, trade receivables, and bank, right? So please your calculator. Thank you.
170.
What?
170,000.
170?
Yes.
All these, right?
Yes.
Thank you. So we have the current ratio for 2015 is 170,000, right?
Yes.
Divided by the total of current liabilities. We have only one current liability, right? This is the only current liability we have for 2015. Do you know that? This is a non-current liability.
Yes.
Please get the point here. A loan is a long-term liability. Overdraft is expected to be paid within a year. So the only current liability we have in 2015 is what? An overdraft, which is how much? 45,000. So this cancels it. So we have 170 divided by 45. So that's 3.7. So the current ratio for 2015 is what? 3.7. Do you understand that, please? Then we check 2016. For 2016, our current ratio is the total here. How much is the total? Did you do it before?
No.
Okay, let's do it together. 65,000 plus 88,000 plus 25,000 plus 30,000. So that's 208,000. 208,000 divided by the only current liability we have is this, right? 88,000. So we have 208 divided by 88, right?
Yes.
So we have 2.36. 2.36. So what we figured out here is that the last year current ratio was 3.7. Now it has reduced to 2.36. So what does this simply mean? It means the ratio of our assets to liability is reducing, which is really good for the business. Yes or no?
Yes.
Do we understand?
Listen, how is it good? Like, what does it mean?
It simply means we are having more assets than liabilities. So because what we really need is, as a business, we should have more assets than liabilities. Because if you are having more liabilities than assets, then it's a problem. Do you get the point here?
Yes.
So here, our current ratio is reducing, which means the business is doing well. Is it clear? Good. Then we have our asset test ratio. For asset ratio, the formula for asset ratio is current asset minus inventories divided by current liability. So our current asset here is the same as for 2015.
170,000.
So asset ratio for 2016, current asset is what? 170,000.
That's 2015, yeah?
Yeah, for 2015, yeah. Divided by current liability.
Minus.
But we have to take away, inventories.
80,000. Minus 80,000.
Minus what?
80.
80,000. So that's 90,000, right?
90,000.
So let's say we have, so let's just write it out immediately. So our asset test ratio for 2016 is 90,000, right?
Yes.
Divided by 45,000, right?
Yes. That's
2, great. Therefore, acid test ratio,
208.
acid ratio. This is 2015, right?
Yes.
Okay. 2016. So it's what?
108 minus
208 minus what?
88. Minus 88. 120.
120, right?
Yes.
120,000 divided by what?
By 88.
88. So we have 120,000, 120 divided by 88. That was 1.36. Now, let's look at it this way. Our acid ratio in 2015 is 2. But for the acid ratio, it simply talks about
2%.
what?
Is it 2%?
No, 1.3, 1.36. It's not in percentage. It's decimal. It's not in percentage. So a business should have a higher acid test ratio. Do you get my point here? So it is 2 here, which is good, but below 2 is not ideal because it means the business does not have a lot of liquidity to pay. It doesn't have a lot of cash available to pay its liquid assets. So your acid test ratio should be higher at any point in time. Is it clear, guys? Any question?
No.